Hold on tight, because this story does not start quietly. It starts with a door finally opening inside Buckingham Palace, a door that stayed firmly shut for years. Behind it, according to sources who know exactly what happened, the Crown has approved something very serious. Not a warning, not a temporary measure, but final orders that will permanently change the future of two children forever. These orders affect Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana, the children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. For years, people wondered if the palace would ever speak. The world waited, watched, whispered, and guessed. But Buckingham Palace said nothing. Absolutely nothing, and that silence became its own mystery. But now the silence has broken. The royal institution, the same one that runs entirely on rules, duty, and centuries of history, has quietly moved to erase Archie and Lilibet's place within the royal structure. According to insiders, the palace has chosen to remove their claim to royal identity completely. No ceremonial titles, no recognition as future heirs, no position in the line of succession, not even a mention in the official records that tell the story of the monarchy. And here is the part that makes this so shocking. The palace did not announce this on television. They did not call a press conference. They did not send out formal invitations or blow royal trumpets. They simply filed the documents, coldly, silently, and finally. Why? Because for the monarchy, and this is not emotional, it is not personal revenge or punishment. It is something far more powerful. Protocol. Welcome to Royal Report Daily, your most trusted source for breaking royal news and exclusive investigations. Tonight, we are covering the story that connects over 100 years of royal law to the most consequential decision the palace has made in the modern era. And by the end of this report, you will understand exactly why this move was always coming, and why it is permanent. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Report Daily and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single update. To truly understand what happened to Archie and Lilibet, we need to step into the year 1917. The world was at war. Empires were collapsing. Kings were fighting to keep their nations stable. And inside Buckingham Palace, King George V made a decision that would echo through the entire next century. He signed what became known as the Letters Patent of 1917, a set of royal rules so strict and so precise that even modern royals are still fully bound by them today. These rules answer one fundamental question. Who is truly royal? Not who feels royal, not who is popular, not who has a famous parent, but who is officially recognized by the crown as a prince or princess. King George V created 3 requirements, 3 boxes that must be checked without any exception. 1. Legitimate royal bloodline. The child must come from the royal family in a way the crown officially recognizes. 2. Official birth registration with the crown. The birth must be documented according to royal standards, witnessed, verified, and recorded in the royal archives. 3. Connection to the Church of England. A royal christening is not decoration or tradition. It is a legal and spiritual seal that ties the child permanently to the monarchy. These laws were designed to protect the crown from confusion, manipulation, and political threats. They were created to guard the royal bloodline as tightly as possible. And for over 100 years, these rules worked without fail. No shortcuts, no exceptions, no bending. Now fast forward to today, to Harry and Meghan's children. When palace officials looked at Archie and Lilibet, they did not see scandal or drama or interviews. They saw a simple, strict checklist. And sources say the checklist had cracks. Cracks that could not be ignored under the 1917 rule book. Stay tuned to Royal Report Daily. We bring you the stories that matter. Which brings us to the first problem, a problem that began the very moment Archie entered the world. Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born in 2019. At first, everything looked completely normal. Royal fans celebrated. News outlets announced the birth. Harry and Meghan smiled for cameras. It seemed like a perfect royal moment. But deep inside the paperwork, the place where the palace pays the most careful attention, something strange happened. Archie's birth certificate, originally filled out with Meghan's full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle, was suddenly changed. Not corrected, not updated, rewritten. Her entire name was removed and replaced with Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. That is not normal. Birth certificates are not branding tools or fashion statements. They are legal records, permanent documents that help determine a child's rightful place in history. Meghan said she never approved the change. She claimed the palace forced it. The palace denied her version completely. Both sides pointed fingers. Neither side backed down. And in that disagreement, something very dangerous happened. Doubt entered the official record. Not gossip, not rumors, not online speculation, but real doubt inside a legally binding royal document. To the monarchy, doubt is not just inconvenient. It is completely unacceptable. A crack in a royal child's documentation is like a crack in the crown itself. That single change, that quiet decision to rewrite a birth certificate, was the first sign. The first clue that Archie's place in the royal system was already unstable. The first hint that the palace had serious concerns. The clock started ticking the moment that ink dried. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to Royal Report Daily for more exclusive investigations. And by the time Lilibet was born, the palace had already made a quiet, internal choice. It would step back. Then it would step away. And eventually it would close the door entirely. When baby Lilibet Diana arrived in June 2021, royal watchers expected the same familiar scene they had witnessed for generations. A palace statement. Doctors confirming the birth. Royal aides stepping forward. A sense of ceremony that said, another chapter has been written into the Windsor story. But that did not happen. Instead, the announcement came from thousands of miles away, sunny California, through a carefully polished press release. No royal trumpets. No palace balcony, no senior aides stepping forward. Not even a formal acknowledgement from Buckingham Palace beyond the bare minimum. It was as if the birth of a prince's daughter was simply a private event for a private couple. And for the monarchy, that silence was not a small thing. It was a signal. Royal births have never been ordinary events. For centuries, they have been treated like national milestones, recorded, witnessed, verified, and placed into official archives where historians and future generations could trace the royal bloodline. But with Lilibet, the palace's hands were nowhere near the paperwork. No royal registrar, no traditional supervision, no British doctor signing anything. The crown did not take ownership of the moment. And in royal language, silence is louder than any shout. Sources say that for insiders, this was the moment they realized the palace had quietly stepped aside. Without the crown's direct involvement in the earliest documents of Lilibet's life, the royal system had no footing, no solid ground, no official tie that binds a newborn to history. It was unprecedented, a birth the monarchy did not fully claim. And in that quiet absence, the future took a very sharp turn. Don't miss a single update. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily right now. Now the question becomes, what pushed the palace from concerned to completely unwilling? The answer came a few months later with a ceremony that should have permanently sealed Lilibet's place in royal history, but instead broke it. Months after Lilibet's birth, Meghan proudly shared that her daughter had been baptized in California. Photos were taken. Guests were invited. The ceremony was filled with warmth and family celebration. But inside Buckingham Palace, the reaction was completely different. According to sources, the Church of England, the very institution woven into the very foundation of the monarchy, did not recognize the baptism as official. And without the Church's recognition, the royal system has no record of the child's spiritual connection to the crown. This detail, which might seem minor to the outside world, is enormous in royal law. A royal christening is not just a religious moment. It is a seal, a formal declaration that says this child belongs to the crown. Royal clergy, royal witnesses, everything done precisely by the book. But none of that was present in California. There was no archbishop, no Church of England registrar, no royal oversight. And because of that, the baptism, in the eyes of royal protocol, simply did not count. This placed Lilibet in what insiders describe as a dangerous limbo, loved by her family, celebrated by her parents, but completely unrecognized by the monarchy. Instead of strengthening her position, the ceremony did the exact opposite. It weakened the ties the crown needed to formally acknowledge her as a royal heir. It introduced yet another gap, a gap that no press release, interview, or personal statement could ever fill. Two cracks now existed, one in Archie's birth documentation, one in Lilibet's christening. And as those cracks spread, the foundation of Meghan's identity and her family's future began to tremble. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily and stay ahead of every royal development. To understand the true weight of the palace's decision, you must understand what Meghan had built. From the moment she entered the royal world, her identity transformed completely. She was not just Meghan Markle anymore. She became the Duchess of Sussex, a global figure wrapped in royal, not because of any failure on their part, but because the crown decided that legacy is not built on emotion or fame or interviews. Legacy is built on rules, on lineage, on tradition that bends for absolutely no one. So Archie and Lilibet will be remembered as the children of Harry and Meghan, but not as the children of the crown. And that silence, the silence of their names missing from the pages of royal history, is louder than any interview, louder than any argument, louder than any scandal that ever made the front pages. It is final. It is permanent. It is the quietest, coldest move the palace has ever made. And as this chapter closes, one truth becomes completely clear. The monarchy never raises its voice. It does not need to. Its silence is always the loudest sound in the room. That is all for today's breaking coverage here on Royal Report Daily. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to Royal Report Daily and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the very latest royal news. We bring you the stories that truly matter. The truth behind the palace walls. Until next time, stay informed and stay connected right here on Royal Report Daily.